Right now on ABC 10 News at 4 o'clock, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine now halted. The reason for the sudden pause and how it could impact supply in San Diego County. And the two arrests made today 25 years after a California college freshman disappeared. Plus,
I like flying and I love animals.
Positively San Diego, the volunteer pilots helping rescue animals from coast to coast.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
People across San Diego County scheduled for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will likely wait longer. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt. And this morning, federal authorities announced they are halting the use of the vaccine while they investigate a handful of rare but serious side effects. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco has a look at how that impacts San Diego's supply.
I was so excited.
Hannah Bloom got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine Monday.
In fact, people were kind of laughing at me because I was got dressed up and was so excited to just get there and finally get the vaccine.
Excitement tempered just a bit Tuesday morning.
And immediately turned on the news and saw the CDC and Fauci talking and was okay, yeah, that was the vaccine that I got.
The CDC and FDA are recommending a pause in the J&J vaccine. Federal health authorities are investigating a potentially dangerous blood clot that developed in 6 women within 2 weeks of getting the shot. 1 woman died. More than 6.8 million doses of the one-shot vaccine have been given out across the country, essentially putting the risk at 1 in a million.
I think it says something about the CDC that even with such a small number that they just came in and they were okay, even though this is small, we're going to pause it. So it shows that they're not trying to go around anything.
Nearly 58,000 doses of the J&J vaccine have been given out in San Diego County. That represents 2.8% of all vaccines administered. County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the pause should have a minimal impact on supply.
The number of J&J vaccines in the San Diego system was exceedingly low. And so it's a minor disruption, but we want to make sure we're safe.
Bloom will watch for symptoms including severe headache, stomach or leg pain, and shortness of breath for the next few weeks, but she has no regrets about getting the vaccine.
It's not that I'm not worried about it. It's just really my main concern was COVID.
Anyone scheduled for the J&J shot will be given priority and rescheduled for Pfizer or Moderna. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the state is vaccinating more than 3 million people a week and is still on track to fully reopen June 15th.
A lot of developments related to the pause of the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. First to know, it's a pause, meaning the vaccine is not being pulled from the market. Many sites that were giving Johnson & Johnson shots are adjusting to Pfizer or Moderna now. This pause gives an independent committee time to review the 6 cases of extremely rare blood clots to see if there are any common themes. A doctor on the FDA committee that voted for J&J's vaccine says recommendations could be adjusted to exclude certain people.
You could carve out individuals who are at higher risk of such an event. Of course, that would be optimal so that this very useful vaccine that's generally safe and effective can continue use.
The FDA and CDC believe they will know more in a matter of days. Right now, we know of the 6 cases, 1 patient died and 1 is in critical condition. All are women between 18 and 48. The FDA was asked if birth control pills could be part of the complication, and they said no for now. The condition is an extremely rare blood clot, rarely even seen outside of vaccine use, a combination of low blood platelets and blood clotting. The symptoms won't present right after the shot, but rather within a week or 2 weeks after.
So for those who were vaccinated weeks or a month ago, I don't think that's the group that we need to worry about.
Symptoms of this rare blood clot are severe headache, not like the headache you might experience immediately after getting a COVID vaccine, leg or stomach pain, and shortness of breath. Part of the reason for the sudden pause is the FDA wanted to get the information out immediately about the proper treatment for these blood clots because it's different than other clotting treatments.
This should give a bit of confidence in our systems for vaccine safety. We are always on patrol. We are always looking out for even rare events. And one could argue that these rare events are still outweighed by the net positive of vaccinating individuals against a potentially fatal virus.
As far as the pause affecting supply, the White House says the Johnson & Johnson vaccine makes up less than 5% of the recorded shots in arms. The U.S. has enough Pfizer and Moderna doses to keep up with the current pace of 3 million shots a day. Neither of those shots have had any blood clot issues reported.
Let's not forget how critical the vaccines are to protect Americans from COVID, which is out there and is a much higher risk of contracting COVID than of these rare events.
Johnson & Johnson is also pausing the shot rollout in Europe. Health officials worldwide are looking at these clots and the ones seen after the AstraZeneca shot to see if they're related. The two vaccines are created using the same technology.
Here is the latest on vaccination numbers in San Diego County. Just over a quarter of San Diegans are fully vaccinated. That's about 720,000 people. There's new insight into the COVID variant first identified in the UK. A new study in the Lancet of Infectious Diseases finds the variant does not lead to more serious illness or death, but the variant is still more contagious than original strains of the virus. Keep track of the latest on the pandemic with our mobile app. A free version is available in the App Store. 25 years after a California college freshman disappeared, investigators arrested the man who last saw her on murder charges. ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti is joining us now live with a breakdown of the stunning announcement. It was made just hours ago. Leah?
Kim, the Kristen Smart case has been a mystery since the Cal Poly freshman went missing in 1996. There are still a lot of questions about what happened to her, but authorities in San Luis Obispo say they believe they now know who is responsible for her disappearance. Next month marks 25 years since 19-year-old Kristen Smart was last seen. She and Paul Flores, both freshmen at Cal Poly at the time, walked home from a party together. He was the last person to see her, and this morning he was arrested. Today, the San Luis Obispo sheriff spoke, saying during his 10 years as sheriff, he's focused his efforts on this case, serving 41 search warrants, searching 16 locations and more. He did confirm they have found physical evidence during those searches, but have not yet recovered Kristen's remains, saying they will keep searching until they find her.
This is not over, and we have committed to them that we are not going to stop until Kristen has been recovered, no matter what the cost. No matter what the time, we're committed to that.
Flores is from Arroyo Grande, a town about 15 miles south of San Luis Obispo. His family home is one of those locations that has been searched, and his father was also arrested this morning on accessory charges. Now, the San Luis Obispo sheriff also emphasized that while they do have beliefs about what happened, they do need that physical evidence to prove it. He says they have found physical evidence, but as of today was not able to disclose what any of that was. So that is something we will continue to track. That will likely come up in any court cases that come up in the future. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
A commitment from the Sheriff's Department there. Thank you, Leah. And new developments about how an armed suspect who was holding a woman hostage was shot to death by police during an all-night standoff. This was on the campus of San Diego High School downtown. Christopher Marquez had been running from police after two other recent shootings. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke to a former SWAT officer about the logistics of today's massive police operation.
These cops out there are trained to save lives, but they know that they have to take one.
Tuesday, dozens of police officers were seen surrounding San Diego High School, where Christopher Marquez was shot to death by two SWAT officers who feared for the safety of a woman who he was holed up with in a dumpster. Former San Diego Police SWAT Commander Ray Shea.
What we stress in these situations is time, talk, and tactics. The longer you talk to a person, they usually can get them to surrender or end peacefully. So it's unfortunate the way it ended.
Tuesday's deadly standoff started Monday night with a chase. National City Police said they spotted Marquez riding in the woman's car, but when they tried to pull them over, they took off, leading a high-speed pursuit through Point Loma and eventually downtown. 3 times, they said Marquez fired at officers, the third time downtown, where an officer fired back. The woman and Marquez, who was believed to be armed, jumped into a dumpster on the high school campus, where they remained for hours. SWAT officers and negotiators were called in. SDPD said she tried to escape, but he wouldn't let her. Use of deadly force had been authorized, and he was shot to death around 9 a.m. in what was a complicated operation for SWAT officers.
Oh, it's extremely challenging because you have to be very careful. Obviously, the weather conditions will impact if it's going to be a sniper-initiated situation. We have a sniper involved. Also, it's rainy and wet last night. It's dark. You worry about lighting.
Police said in March, Marquez shot this bounty hunter who was serving him a warrant in Chula Vista. And just last week, police said Marquez shot at National City officers and ran off after they pulled him over, believing his car was stolen. The search to arrest him ending Tuesday morning.
San Diego, Garfield, and East Village Middle College high schools all had to switch from doing in-person learning to virtual instruction Tuesday to ensure student safety during the standoff. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Police said it's not yet known whether the woman who was involved will face any charges. And right now, demonstrators are gathering outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department 2 days after the fatal shooting of a black driver. Several cities, including Minneapolis, also have a 10 p.m. curfew in place in anticipation of potential unrest. Officer Kim Potter, who is accused of killing 20-year-old Dante Wright, resigned today. The Brooklyn Center Police Chief, Tim Gannon, also resigned. The incident happened Sunday night and sparked protests and rioting. The police chief said Potter meant to reach for her taser, but fired her gun instead by mistake.